Now we will have a panel discussion with Vlatko Canev, Cybersecurity Technical Lead and NLB Digit, Marko Elazar, CEO at Nova Defense, and Vladan Todorovic, co-founder at Advanced Security Technologies. Moderator will be Alexander Linz, Managing Director at Data Universe. Panel discussion topic is Human in the Loop, Balancing AI, Data Science, and Human Ingenuity in the Cybersecurity Arms Race.
Thank you. Can you get Jessica? Tough crowd. Joking, of course. What is important to say that I got invitation from my good friend Marko Elazar to moderate this panel. So this is the only panel this year I'm going to moderate, and I'm very, very excited because I believe that the topic that we are going to tackle today is very important to see. Some of the outcomes and outputs from this panel, I would like to set a very high expectation in the beginning, and that is to basically try to talk about and see and demystify what is real and what is not. What is the hype and what is the reality. And that's not easy task to do, but I think that these three fine gentlemen are the ones who can do it to us. And what I wanted to say that our guest today, first of all, Vladan. He is the founder of Advanced Security Technologies, IST, a company focused on research and development of solutions in the field of cybersecurity. Vladan has over 20 years of experience in over 30 countries, working on the cybersecurity of critical systems, including the Olympic Games. So that's very rare to find out. And stock exchange and corporation. Vladan owns several international awards, international patents. The second panelist today is going to be Vlatko from NLB Digit, and he has over 5 years of in-depth experience in IT security, specializing in the financial sector. His expertise lies in the penetration testing and offensive security strategies. At present, Vlatko leads the internal red team for NLB Group, providing expert offensive security services across 7 banks. Additionally, he boasts a portfolio of multiple certifications in ethical hacking. And third, but not the least, is Marko. He is the CEO of Nova Defense, a company providing managed cybersecurity services, or how they call it, Security Operations Center Services. Nova Defense is providing services worldwide to organizations and companies of any size, protecting their digital way of work and life. Besides that, I can be very, very proud that call Marko my friend. We know each other for more than 5 years. We had work and had communication and collaboration across 2 different organizations so far. I hope that's going to stay that way. But Marko is somebody who is living day by day, and every day he's living cybersecurity, not only as his professional company, but as his hobby and the second love of his life. First one is his wife and kids, of course, but this is the second thing. So, without further ado, I would like to start with the panel. So that's why we all came, not me to brag about these fine gentlemen. So I would like to quickly start with a question, and Vladan, you will be the first one I would like to ask. How do you use AI in your daily operations, and where do you see its biggest benefits?
It's turn on. So first, thank you everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Regarding, probably you are assuming now ChatGPT and similar kind of tools when we are referring to usage of AI. So it is really a helpful assistant in the sense of, for example, I'm really borrowed with writing reports, writing any kind of narratives for some projects and so on. So usually what I do is I provide him the bullet points, what are the major things that should be mentioned in that one. Please create me narrative, and then it helps on that part. So on this part, it's really good on that one.
Okay. Vlatko, would you like to add something to that?
Just to check, is this thing working?
It's working, yeah.
Yeah, but it's my first time using it, so sorry for any kind of microphone or not being too clear. I would completely agree with Vladan. It's great as an assistant. We already had a discussion during the coffee break today, but we overlap with some of the findings regarding the ChatGPT. In my case, it's great assistance for report writing, for vulnerability descriptions. For me, what is the most difficult part of my job is to somehow go down to the business level of understanding what is going on the technical part of the story. So whenever I find it difficult to explain something, I use ChatGPT, and today I couldn't imagine my working day without it. Besides that, it's great for scripting languages. It's great for making fast scripts and some automatization in our daily processes. I would take 1 minute just to put you in the context for the scripting languages. A few months ago, we had some assessment in one of our banks, and we found some hash which is quite old. And the first thing what popped in our mind, okay, this may be some default credentials, and we know what are default credentials, but we didn't have any kind of dictionary for the cracking of that hash. So during our break, we utilized GPT, and in 45 minutes we made a script for a generation of the passwords. So with different complexity, different permutations, different size, and so on. So we were able, like in 1 hour, to create 200, 300 gigabytes of records for the password hacking or cracking. So as assistants, it's great. Whenever we need some script, we go to it, report writing, and plus what I already said for explanation of some technical part of the story.
This is very interesting to see that you're utilizing to basically enhance the ability regarding like explanation. If you had a problem to explain to somebody else, so this is very cool. I would like to ask Marko. I know that you're very tech savvy.
Yeah, in my daily life, now you're going to hear a story. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. So, you said demystifying. Here today we have 2 topics that actually needs demystifying. One of them is cybersecurity, the second one is AI. So let's demystify a little bit cybersecurity and what is it that we do and why our work is necessary. Does anybody here know what Tokelau is? Have anybody heard about it? One hand, and that's it. Have you heard of it?
No.
No. Tokelau is a country in New Zealand. It's a sovereign territory. It has something around, I don't know, maybe 10,000 people, 20,000 people, some kind of population which is around maybe 20,000. But what's interesting story about Tokelau is that they have the biggest number of internet domain registered in the world. Why that happened? Because somehow somebody bought the rights from them to be their register of the national domain, and he gave those domains for free, meaning that most spam emails or whatever came from the domain something.tk. And they have more domains than China or whatever. I mean, it's completely crazy. And now, what do they need those domains for? For phishing, because in cybersecurity kill chain, most of the attacks start with phishing emails. And when those phishing emails, they can be detected by humans, they can be detected by some basic algorithms, but how things change in real life, they change in cybersecurity as well. So they lost the rights to sell those domains for free, and the technology is evolving, and now you have phishing emails which are personally crafted for the recipient, meaning that if somebody else other than the recipient clicks on the link, it leads nowhere. If the recipient clicks in more than half an hour after it was received, it also leads nowhere. So to craft the tools that are going to detect those kinds of phishing emails, it's very difficult. And that's where ML and AI come to power. So in our line of work, where it's very difficult to detect what is legitimate and what is attack, it can be a legitimate mail or a phishing email or legitimate traffic or phishing traffic. In means of the detection of what is legitimate and what is not, AI and ML provide a very, very important part. We don't develop it, we use it. Somebody else is developing it who has much more resources than we will probably ever have, but we are using it in our daily operations. It can be network detection, intrusion intrusion prevention detection, endpoint detection, whatever on the side of the detection, and that's where we use it the most.
Okay, very interesting thing to, and I thank you for assisting with the what we need to demystify. So we are going more into depth. So basically, that is the goal of the panel. So Vlatko, I would like to ask you, from what we have heard, I think that the most people in the room think that pen testing is the sexiest thing. So what about using AI to make automated pen tests?
For sex, not for sure, but for pen testing. But sorry, I had to. But for pen testing, I
Only
believe that
it is only going to be on YouTube. Don't worry.
yeah, yeah. Okay, another public mistake. Pen testing is quite, I don't know how to say it, but specific field of offensive security. So I believe that AI cannot fully replace the human being. It can be used a lot for automatization of the steps for the whole process. It can even identify vulnerability, even exploit them. That's not the problem. But you need to put anything that you find out in the context of the business process. So for that part of the story, human being will be always present. And on the different side of the story, with automatization of the pen test, you are giving something that is not intuitive to a machine, to a program. So being present on the network and having just one target to perform pen test, it can be done in so many ways. That is why pen testing is a specific set of skills by person, not by the process or not by the tool. So the biggest issue in automatization of the pen testing would be ingestion of the data. So you would need quite a lot of pen testers being able to ingest data in order for the tool to perform it in the best way. So right now they are noisy. That can be also lowered down. So it's dependable of the scope of the pen test, and plus they are not intuitive. So most often with automatization tool you can provide automatization to a certain depth, but above it, it's not possible. Plus, you have situations in practice like you have one web service and you want to perform pen tests for that web application. And for example, in my case, most of the tools will be going straight to the enumeration and to the vulnerability identification part of the story. But if you ask me, if I see an upload functionality of the website, that is the first thing I would like to try.
Okay, thank you so much for your answer. And I think this is the real good answer, so we can jump to the next question, and that is, in which task you don't use AI, and do you think that it will change in the future, and why? I would like to start, Marko, with you, and after that go to Vladan.
Okay, where we don't use it. AI can help in detecting stuff much faster and much better than we humans can do. But when it comes to solving complex problems, what we humans can describe as situational awareness, AI doesn't have that capability. When it comes to thinking outside of the box, or adaptability, or creativity, or solving the problems in a way that have never been solved before, because you can have attack that has never been seen before and you need to solve it in a way that nothing happened like that before. AI cannot help in those situations. Then we also try to, we personally, maybe other companies do it differently, but we personally try to minimize the automatization part when it comes to prevention, when it comes to blocking, because then we will have ethical issues and we will have accountability issues. Meaning, if we block something that AI said should be blocked, and we are not sure why it came to that conclusion, and for example, I blocked her traffic and then I went to investigate the traffic, presuming it was malicious, then I may be violating some privacy rights or whatever, and without accountability, because I cannot say why I did it. I don't have the clear chain. So we mostly use it in detection, in some blocking responses, but for automatization and for other stuff, we don't. I don't think that will change because I don't see at the moment how AI can become self-aware or being able to think outside the box, to have creativity, because the whole way it works is that we are training it or teaching it or whatever to provide us with results based on the training sets we gave. When something new, never seen, appears, we don't know what the results will be. We don't even know what wrong results will be from the training sets we made. And to go to the next level, I think we will not be prepared in the near future.
Okay, thank you, Marko, for this one. I think that this is basically the fundamental, from my point of view, fundamental difference when we are talking about supervised, unsupervised learning in the first place. If you would like to break it down on even smaller depth, but for sure, I think that we're going to cover that in the future question. So, Vladan, would you like to add something to this?
Definitely, yes. Well, I partially disagree with Marko. So he has mentioned 3 points. He said about monitoring, then innovation, and regarding the automation of reaction. I don't know how to translate that one. Regarding the monitoring and detection, there is a big problem with AI in the sense that for the purpose of detecting anything, first it has to have a sample of it, then it has to be trained with that data, and then it will be able to recognize. So it is a painful process to gather all these samples, then you're going for the training and so on. So in detection, you will have a lot of false positives. For example, another example that we, for your information, 5 years ago, we have proven that we can manipulate any AI algorithm to make wrong decisions just by slowly changing the data, input data on that part. Let me give you some example regarding the phishing emails, for example. It was good trained, it was recognizing phishing quite good, but what we have done, we were changing some, we were making spelling mistakes for purpose to confuse the ML algorithm, so it was not able to recognize phishing. This is one example. Also, there were some manipulations, I don't want to bother on that one. So regarding detection, we cannot fully rely on it. For some standard things, pre-trained things, yes, it's good, but for any kind of constantly changing things, it cannot handle that one. So it was about the monitoring. Regarding the second part...
Can I just interrupt you for a second? Yeah. This is something I like, because, and this is something I was hoping for. You are making the software. I mean, you're making the solutions, correct?
Yep.
So you are facing those issues. Once you're finished, once you have those training sets, when you complete the whole production process, and when you push it to market, when it's operational, then it comes to me. Then I'm using it, and I'm using it that it works. So those problems you have, I don't.
But what if there is a new kind of attack in the meantime? Exactly. Then what? Then it's your problem.
Then it's mine as well. But I have, in this case, I have less problems than you. Yeah. So please continue.
Anyway, let me go further down. So it was about monitoring and detection. The second one was about innovation, and I fully agree with Marko on that part. Whenever I ask and I force, for example, ChatGPT to make a new conclusion based on some new research and innovation we are doing, it always fails. It cannot even understand the idea behind that one. So this is the second part. And the third part, please remind me, Marko, what you have mentioned. The third point was...
accountability.
Yeah, accountability. Good point that he had on that part. I don't know how much you're aware of. There are new EU regulations being prepared. It should be published, I think, in December on that one. And one of the things that they are pushing there is that every algorithm has to be open in a sense that there must be a human way of proving why some specific AI solution has made such a decision on that one. They are also enforcing the idea of publishing all these training data and algorithms for the purpose of responsibility in the law system.
Yeah, I'm very aware of that, and to be completely honest, I'm not sure how they manage, how they think to do that. That's almost improbable to do, to be completely honest, on some levels. For some of the things, I'm totally aware of AI Act. The reason why it's not already employed because they finally realized what kind of logistics from the data point of data quality and everything else need to be done. And for sure, talking about accountability and making the professionals to do that, that's one thing. I totally agree on that. But still, like, we need to understand that for every kind of for every piece of technology we want to add, it's adding something new to the technology. And after that, we also need to, we can go down the rabbit hole, how we can be sure that what we have used as a technology is accountable. So it's going on and on. So I think that the practical approach and practical like implementation will be very interesting, what you just said, because you will see when okay, one is the law, but when it starts being deployed, and how people and regulators, who is going to regulate in the end, going to see what does it mean in the real life. That's going to be very interesting point. So thank you so much for that. I would like also to Marko, would you like to add something to this? I saw that you have, sorry Marko, Vlatko, sorry.
Yeah. I just want to confirm about the accountability and the responsibility, because during the pen test you often don't want to put something on the tool to perform. For example, you are in production environment, you don't want to DDoS anything, which is crucial for the business. And even if it's done, you need someone who will be responsible for it. On the other hand, I wanted to say about the creative thinking about the remediation of the vulnerabilities, because in our job is also to propose the solutions for whatever we find, which is crucial in an environment. And sometimes the remediation which is provided by the vulnerability scanners or from the vendors, it's not applicable to that solution because it cannot be upgraded or something like that. So you need to find a creative way and find a different way to prevent that attack vector.
Okay, thank you. So basically what I would like to make is, let's say, conclusion for this first part is that we are talking about AI replacing human, etc. I think if you are talking especially in cybersecurity field, that I believe that that's not possible. It will be enhancing professionals and experts so they can do much more of their prime job. So basically there is a tons of job that people basically need to do every day, and that's something that is eating your time, and you need to work until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. So having this kind of life is taking a toll on people. So basically, and we had the talk in DSCX about burning out, and that's going to be one of the topics next year. We're going to cover much more in depth. So burnout at the IT, data, and cybersecurity sector as well. I think it's very important to talk about that. But what we said, augmented humans, in the end, I think is going to be one of the things that we are going to have. And what does it mean? That we are going to be enhanced with AI to do much better and much faster. And of course, we need to understand what is the results. We need to be, in the end, the one who has the finger on the button. If without that, we're going to have a lot of issues, and it's going to create much more problem, especially when we have AI Act. So my next question is, since most of us came from the data world, we are very curious to learn what is the amount of data of your tools usually process. Maybe Vladan, we can start with you.
So as we are doing a few different solutions, one of them is SIEM. It is collecting the highest level of data. For your information, average amount of events per day is something like 500 million events happening. So sometimes we have customers with 300, sometimes 500 million, sometimes almost 1 billion events per second. So this is the average data being processed.
1 billion
events.
Events?
Yeah, each event, I would say something, it can be between, let's say, half a kilobyte to 2.5 kilobytes, so you can then multiply and you can get the figure.
Okay, that's a little bit more than I expected, to be honest. Okay, to be completely honest. Okay. So we're talking about big data.
Yes, big data, definitely.
Big data, bigger data.
Yeah. In my field, it's not so relevant question because most often we are the ones that are generating that data. So. And usually it is like that. So we are utilizing tools which are generating logs and events, security events for the tools that Vladan make or Marko is selling to other companies. So for me, it's a different kind of story. We mostly rely on the assistance parts of the AI, not the ingesting data.
Okay, yeah.
For now. For future, we will see.
Okay, Marko?
It may It may sound strange, but actually when you think about it, it's not at all. Since Vladan is actually producing the solutions and we are the users, it doesn't matter who the provider of the solution is. The amount of data in our case is approximately the same, between 500 million and 1 billion events per day.
My God. Okay, that's very interesting. So if I starting my career as a fresh graduate, I would definitely think about like joining cybersecurity. Why? Because when you have a chance to test what you have learned in data and to play with it on some level, you need to understand. Only when you have a volume on data, and I was talking about from my experience in NCR, that we had also 1 billion per day, like sensors sending you the information every day, so you can analyze, you can do Hadoop, you can do million things to understand what does it really mean to use big data. I think that can be an interesting starting point for anybody who would like to do data and AI. So basically, and being said that, which part of the data, if not all, I've hopefully that the answer is all, is utilized by machine learning and AI systems, Marko?
Okay, in our case, it's not all. It can be all of the data, but when we were founded as a company, we set a mission and a goal or whatever to provide premium cybersecurity services. In order to provide premium services, we must have and utilize premium solutions, meaning those solutions are expensive. So to utilize whole data, I can give you the ballpark number what the cost would be for the organization just for the solution, and it's around 300K yearly. So we don't utilize all of it. Mostly we utilize, when I think about it, let's say a quarter or a third.
Okay, interesting. Vlatko?
But it can be all utilized.
Okay.
It's just too expensive in our case.
It's very, very important things to say that is the part with expenses we need to understand. For example, I don't know if you know the fact that OpenAI, when they train it, and Bloom, when they trained Bloom, for sure I know that, they needed to basically put the whole center, plug in on the nuclear reactor. That's much amount of power they have been using. That's freaking a lot. That's cost a lot. So when we see OpenAI and everything else, we need to understand two sides of the story. First one is technology development, and the second one, somebody needs to pick up a bill. If there's nobody to pick up the bill, the technology is sexy, but still, it's not going to be useful in the end. So that your answer quarter is something that we can say that right now, not the organization are prepared to pay, but organization can pay and can utilize data. And that is like one of the, I think, reasons why we are not utilizing data at that level. But maybe Vlatko will prove me wrong.
Well, I cannot prove you wrong because from my side of the story, it's a different setup. I will answer like this. So expanding my red teaming to the purple teaming purposes, 100% of the data we generate.
Can you just explain the difference between red and purple team?
Red teaming is purely offensive security, and purple teaming is expanding that offensive security for the blue teamers in a way that whatever you are doing malicious on the systems, you are using that knowledge and those results in order to increase cybersecurity or security posture for the blue team, for the security tools. So blue teams.
I hope there is no green team and like rainbow teams.
Blue teams are defensive teams.
Okay.
Basically, those are the ones that are sitting and looking at the EDRs, NDRs, DLP systems, and so on. But like in one part of the hand, like SOC monitoring services and so on. Yeah, but 100% of the data we generate in order to test our defensive systems, we are using that for the increase in security posture. So it's a different logic.
Okay, thank you so much for this one. Vladan?
If you did introducing a yellow team as well, then we will be having a problem again. Anyway, so I fully agree with you. So amount of data is huge, also amount of energy, the CPU power and so on is huge. So our approach is a bit different. So we are focusing on algorithms which are not spending that much energy. For example, you have deep learning and you have some other algorithms. Everything is not new. It exists for at least something like 20 years, 30 years on that one. So we focus on those algorithms that do not take a lot of power and it does not make a lot of calculations. And also regarding the data, we are focusing on the real high quality data. Specifically, we are collecting malicious data, attacks,
Smart.
primary,
Okay.
plus regular algorithms that can be executed on a regular CPU, and that's how we achieve high quality.
That's very smart. So basically, like, I just wanted to just give you like comparison with, for example, with the financial sector. Like I said, basically what we did, because we had a lot of data, and of course we had a support team in India, so not all the time they're supportive. Sorry for that part, but that's true. But the thing is, what we did like some mix between expert system, what you did, and the real like ML and AI on the data we got from. Basically, the ATM machine is the more complex machine than a car is, and it's 10 times more complex. It has 32,000 sensors inside that. You cannot imagine. So basically, we understood like what are the important data we need to have. So basically, we narrowed down from 2.8 billion per day. We have pointed out to 10 million per day. What is important for us to track, and after and everything else we can simulate, and it's going to be plus minus 5% accurate. And that was like basically anomaly detection inside of it. And after that anomaly detection, we can do like the real calculus much easier, much faster. Of course, when Indians supported us, we do all of the things from time to time. But basically, what I want to say that this kind of thing is very, like, for me, it's revealing, to be completely honest. And I think that what is said is completely true regarding the new freshly appointed people. So basically, my next question, Vladan, I would like to continue with you, is since you're developing cybersecurity tools that are using artificial intelligence, do you think that AI is vulnerable, and how much?
Oh, tricky question. Definitely it is, and it is extremely vulnerable. And we always have to think about any kind of AI solution as, first it is an IT service, then it has communication between the user and the AI, and then you have the AI inside, meaning the model that is using on that one. So it has vulnerabilities at all three layers. I will give you some examples. 5 years ago, we were presenting in Hong Kong our achievements in, as I mentioned before, manipulation of conclusions using changing the training data. Let me just simplify the thing. The simplest thing that we can explain, for example, you have clustering. If it is just one, two-dimensional space, you have clustering when the AI should decide what dot belongs to which cluster of this one. And when you have a large group next to each other, it's quite easy and simple. But you will always have some dots where somewhere in between on that one. And AI is using simplification of splitting these clusters using a linear line on that one. Perfect one is not the linear one. It should be curve on that one. So what we were doing, we were placing in the input data specific inputs that are exactly around that splitting line.
Okay.
And we've, we have proven that any kind of algorithm at that moment of time, we can poison with this specific data, and we can force it not only to make a wrong decision, but to make the decision that we want. For example, it was about photo of the orphan whale, and it was recognized first as a snake, and then we were forced to be recognized as a professor that I was working with on that part.
Okay, that's like, to me, like, that sounds like a real threat. So basically, can you maybe just give us what can be the consequences, you think, for the organization if they are not deploying some safety networks around it?
Huge, huge, and challenge here is that you cannot predict anything that can happen on that one. So let me give you another example. Communication layer on that one. So for example, ChatGPT now has, if you ask anything about the penetration testing and maybe some exploits, it will not respond to you. But recently there was a case when they were providing questions with base 64 encoding.
Okay.
And everything was working fine. He could provide you data, any of that one. So as you can,
you're kidding me.
Yes, who thought about that one? Huh? So what is my point? In the regular signatures base and protection and so on, you can say if this, then that. And it's simple. With this one, it's not that simple and easy to distinguish.
Okay, thank you so much. This is like to be very revealing. Like, to be honest, like I didn't expect this answer, but like I can see that we are talking, and we didn't cover that, but I can see that AI can be used to create totally new types of attacks that wasn't before possible. It's still not that much deployed, if I understand correctly, but it's just a matter of time. It's already happening, basically. So
but
just we are
it is already happening.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, because you have now those apps, those interesting apps when you can provide them with the picture of the voice, and they will generate a lot of interesting stuff for you. And now the new type of attack is like wishing on the so much enhanced level, where they're using that technology to create those. They are called like deep fakes attacks. What is basically the type of the attack? You are receiving a video call from your daughter, CEO, or whoever it is interesting to you as a counterparty, and which they found out via social engineering. Social engineering, for example, cannot be replaced with the AI. That is something that is read between the lines, as Vladan said. But AI can be used, for example, to generate those that basically artificial intelligence that is responding to you with a video call. So imagine receiving a call from the CEO early in the morning or late in the evening for some financial transaction.
Yeah, and say no.
Would you say no on the video call, which is responding to your questions? And
that can be a lot. Basically, that's a real problem, because we are not talking about, we can talk about in some other panel as well. It's not only about the damage that has been done, like financially. It's also reputational risks. Can you imagine that somebody who is CEO or CTO or CEO of the company, he need to basically step down until it's proven that it wasn't him. You're basically can cripple the whole organization, and you can basically, and if there is a stock market, the stock will just drop like significantly. So basically.
Yeah, but what about emotional damage? Imagine that your child is AI.
Oh, okay, that's even scarier. Okay, that's also can be a lot.
So, after I found out those attacks, I really questioned about any kind of posting my kids' pictures on the Instagram or whatever. You know, that is the source. That is the social engineering part of the story.
Okay, thank you so much for this. Marko, I have a question for you, and that is, what part of your cyber defense that is relying on AI or for any reason stop working or malfunction?
Okay, when any part of our cyber defense stops working or malfunctions, then I can easily say that then shit hits the fan. I mean, to be completely honest, if any part of our system stop working for any reason or start malfunctioning, then shit hits the fan. The issue with other parts of our defense systems, when they stop working or start malfunctioning, we can easily detect the issue because we know in depth what they are doing, why and how. If AI stops working, we have no idea what happened, because we don't have the clear correlation between input and output, and then we wouldn't know how to fix it, and then we would be in a real problem.
Well, basically, if I understand correctly, and that's something that happened to us, like also in NCR, that when this kind of thing happens, the only thing you can come back is to the human, like who produced this, who understand the data. When you understand, there's a great need if you're having AI solution, that there is behind the scene the guy who understands the data. That's the only way how you can combat if something goes wrong.
But not just the data. Sorry, not just the data, but the technology,
of course,
which is underneath.
Of course, for this kind of part, when I said that you understand data, that means that you also understand technology that is using. That's, for me, that's the same, basically. Okay. In terms of what, just giving an example, our system stopped working for Bank of America, and they're super pissed off, and we need to find out what is happening, and I was the only one in the whole organization who managed to find out. The mistake was very something that nobody could think about as possibility for a unique key to be doubled, and the whole system was wrong. And you need to understand why it's happened, and you have very small time to do so. So basically, when we are talking about, we are coming back to the conclusion I wanted to say, without human who is doing professional, strong expert, there is great risk of developing and just putting the AI solution there and seeing what is going to happen. Like that can be basically the fall of the organization. That's super risky. You need to understand what you're developing and how you're developing in the end. So basically, I would like for the last part, because we're going to break a little bit more, I would like to give people a chance to at least ask one question. The question for all is, how do you see in the future AI and cybersecurity together? And yeah, is there any key message do you hope the audience will remember or take away from this experience? We can come from Vladan, and after that, finish it, Mark.
Can leave it to Mark.
Uh-huh.
So what to expect in the future? Well, talking about development of AI, right now we don't have big knowledge in the sense that you have specified algorithms for specified topics on that
Okay.
one. So definitely at one moment of time we will have to merge, just like human brain works, you have a center for whatever, for example, for the vision, center for the audio and so on. So just like that, I'm expecting that all these different solutions will be merging somehow and then having a high level of abstraction for understanding on that one. Of course, we are still far away from that one, but definitely this is the direction we are going for. My apologies, this was...
Key message?
Key message.
Hakuna Matata?
There was one really nice saying at 9 a.m. Morning. Someone said that we are living in the area of monsters, meaning we have a new kind of living entity, talking about AI, that is still a monster in the sense that we do know exactly what it is and we do not know how to control it. So probably in 30, 50 years we will know exactly what it is about, but for now it's age of monsters.
Yeah, I will add to Vladan's thought, because I believe that AI is already here, and the companies are really challenged to adopt it quite soon, because the development from the malicious point of view, it's much faster than adopting it from the defensive point of view. So in order to keep businesses alive, we all need to adopt AI, but professionally. That meaning you need to hire professional people doing professional services. In that point of view, AI, I believe that AI cannot be replaced cannot replace humans, and also humans will be needed quite soon, because, well, quite soon, sorry. Humans will always be needed, because quite soon we will have algorithms attacking, algorithms defending.
Okay.
Who will stay in between?
Okay.
It will be a human.
It's going to be awesome, or not awesome that much. Okay, Marko?
Yeah. I'm the one always left with an unpopular thing to say. We talked about demystifying. The message I want to send. Most of the people here at this conference are data science professionals, but then again, most of those data science professionals, meaning most of you, usually play with Legos. What I mean, you take parts you don't understand, you put them together, you get an output. The biggest example of that is, just imagine how many companies, startups or whatever, existing today relying on the APIs with ChatGPT, and they're kind of producing something, meaning when ChatGPT stops working, their businesses go down. My message is that we need to rely on education. We need to understand a little bit more in depth and not just utilize what's given and what's being put in front of us. We must, especially you as data scientist or AI specialist or whatever, and I can imagine that somebody in the audience will probably make a startup which will utilize AI in cybersecurity, and then he will hire a sales guy, and that sales guy will go to a customer and say, you know, you buy this solution, it has AI, it's omnipotent, it's going to solve all your problems, you don't need a human. Let's start learning, let's start educating the people who are not from this world, the people, I mean, imagine somebody who has never been in contact with an AI from the development side. What does he know about it? He knows nothing. He just hears the buzzword. So let's talk outside the community. Let's demystify it, that it's not omnipotent, and let's try to spread that word. And let's first of all try to educate ourselves. My message that I would like all of you to take home. First of all, the mantra I would like all of you to take home is to go find the blackboard and, like Bart Simpson, write on it 100 times, AI is not omnipotent, without using any AI to help you, without using ChatGPT or whatever. And the message I want you to take home is, let's talk more with people who are not from the AI world and start demystifying and saying it's not omnipotent, and we do as professionals need to educate ourselves a little bit more than we are doing today. That's it from me.
Thank you, Marko, for that. As a conclusion of this panel, before I open like one or two quick questions, is that I need to say that I'm amazed by the number of people. Like you counted around 87 people, if I understand correctly, maybe 92, because it's a little bit hard to track all these people. So having 92 people right now, or 87, doesn't matter, listening to the panel about cybersecurity and AI is, for me as an organizer, something that I can see has this important topic, and it should be continued to discuss and having as a part of the conference. As a conclusion from this point, I would like to thank you, all three of you, for sharing your expertise. And I would just like to come back to what Cassie said during the official opening, that artificial intelligence was developed as a construct, as a word to scare the people from government not to look at it. So instead of maybe
to scare the government to provide funding.
Not to provide actually funding, but the thing is also like what is the other word? Augmented automation is the second word. So basically, like what you said, maybe demystify what is artificial intelligence. Yes, it's statistics on the steroids on the first place, but it is augmented automation. And when you say like that, it doesn't sound that scary. Is that right? In basic, it's more scary. Somebody will automate me like robot. No, don't worry. Robots are not coming. They are already here. Joking. So thank you so much for this one. I would like one big round of applause for our. Is there any question from the public? Okay, we have one. Can we just have a mic like this? Like I said, one or two questions. I know that you're hungry, would like to go to eat. That's all the time, the most important part of the conference.
Thank you so much. I'll make it quick. Thank you all for great information. That was actually really a great deal of details and everything. I was curious upon a couple of facts, so if I can summarize it in as simpler as possible. Why do you think humans will not ever be replaced? And accordingly, do you think there ever be a point of time where that is actually going to be a case that algorithm fights algorithm? And what will be the winning fact? What will be the key ingredient that one algorithm wins? For example, attacking algorithm versus the defense algorithm.
I think for two.
Is it a question for me, Vladan, or Marko?
All of you, I mean, yeah.
Okay, I'm holding the mic. For me, the last part of the question, which algorithm will win, will be the one with more data in it. So, for example, you have now specialized tools which are trying to bypass EDRs, and they're doing more frequent than the EDRs ingesting new data. So, the development of the exploits are often faster than the upgrades. 0 days are the reason why that exists, and why will not be replaced. Why humans will not be replaced with the AI, especially in this cybersecurity? Exactly because of the 0 days. How they are found out? You don't have any kind of data for the 0 day. That is something that is ticking in somebody's mind, and he just tried it, and that is quite specific to that person. So you don't have so many 0 days, because you need to have a particular mindset to perform it, and how AI can perform, how AI can find 0 day with 0 data.
So you're saying that it cannot get outside of a concept from what it actually has.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
all right.
Yeah. That is my standard point.
Would you trust somebody else's model? Can you certify that? So let's say if you decide to build a solution upon somebody else's model, can you actually
I'm not
believe
sure.
it?
I'm not sure that we discussed that during the coffee break. For me, ChatGPT is my best friend these days, but I'm not ingesting any data from it. I'm just getting the results from my questions.
Like one very important notice, don't be like Samsung and put your core code inside of ChatGPT
Yeah,
to optimize.
yeah.
And then you get match from OpenAI. Are you freaking crazy? Don't do that. That's a problem. Okay, do we have an additional question perhaps?
I don't have it.
Is
Thank
there
you.
somebody from the hall would like to have one additional question? Who? No? Yes? You would like to go to it? Okay. So thank you once again. I would like big round of applause for all of us. Yay!